Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to the video. My name is Bradley, also known as the Theswimcoach. Today we're going to be looking at the defenders for the Premier League fantasy football for the upcoming season. But beforehand, if you want to, in this corner here is my code to join the league. So if you want to join, it's down to you. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. So let's get straight into it. And here we are. So we're going to look through the points from last season, the prices that are for this season, and the percentage of people that have bought those players this year. So, as you can see, Arsenal did have the top three players: Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel. Now, Ben White's price has gone up from last year. Saliba's gone up a lot. Gabriel, I think, was round about the same. So, you could look at potentially having any of those. I think you've got to have one of them. And for me, at this present moment, I think I've selected Ben White, but I'm also thinking about going for Saliba purely because I know 40% of people have already picked him, but he's that that $500,000 difference. So it could help you out. Pedro, yeah, he's a Tottenham player. And he could be good. He could be, I'm going to say this. It could be very interesting to see how they get on this year, Tottenham. I think Pedro will be an interesting player. 27% of players have picked him. I think I may put him in at one point or another. Now this is the surprising one. Now I'm very bad with names, so we'll just go from the Everton. They were down in the bottom of the league, and they've got the 5th best defender on points. At 5 million, I think that could be a bit of a steal. Even the player that's two below him, Carl Walker. I think we have to see how City start off with. But for me, I'm thinking of someone like Saliba, Carl Walker, and the Everton player as three of my defenders, potentially. And then Shah, I bad with names, as I said. 5.5 million. Only 7% of players that picked him. So the percentage is low. So are you gaining extra points off players that may have him, may not have him? Yes. Are you going to gain someone like Saliba, who's got 40% of people? Probably not. So they're the things you've got to also look at. The two, Trent Alexander, he's just a bit pricey for me at 7 million. 20 odd, 21% of players picked him. I still think that's high. I am actually going to look at these two Crystal Palace players, Anderson and Mitchell. And I actually had Mitchell a lot in my team last year. And I'm actually thinking about having him in my team again this year. Tarkowski, very good, but he does get bookings. So that's what I've got to look at for Tarkowski. Virgil van Dijk, he's starting to get a little bit slow. So I'm not going to put him in. Ajay Akai, I'm not going to put him. He's not going to be in there. Dollar. Again, 5 million. Is he going to be playing enough? Yes. But I think it's still going to be iffy. Trippier. I'm surprised he didn't get enough more points. I thought he'd be more in the top 10 positionings. So I'm a bit surprised at that. And then Romero, again, he's a player that could get booked a few times. Casagiro, for them, another player that I could probably have in, especially at 5.5 million. And only 3% of the players have picked him. That could be an interesting one. Shevchenko, I'm not sure with Shevchenko, purely because of, I am an Arsenal fan, but I think he's just getting a little bit too slow. I think he make a bit sloppy mistakes. So we'll see on those, okay? Robinson, again, another 4.5 million player. That's something you could probably look at. Someone like Anderson and Robinson, that's £9 million. Well, Trent Alexander is 7. So you've got 2 players that spent 2 million extra. You could probably look at that. And you think about the points of those players. That's 225 points to Trent Alexander, 120 points from last season. So if you can get your budget right, you could probably put that in. Burns, again, he's high on players picking him. So again, he's a person that I think could be sorted out. Lewis Dunk, another player that I feel really highly, but he's only got 4.5 million. Problem with Dunk, he does get booked a few times. Let's go on to the next page, and then I'll go on to the total number of players. Now, there are a few players that you've got to be looking at in the future. So players, even like Robinson, 6 mil. He didn't get much because he was injured. You got to look at it. You know, I thought he was going to do well, 5.5. I had him in, but not much. Now, they're the things people just got to probably look at. Next, another Arsenal player, Tamsusi. Again, career, I highly rate him, but we've had a few extra signings in, so I'm not sure of it. Even Gomez. So that's going to be an interesting one. Now, if you look at the total of selected, my biggest surprise is actually this one right here. Yes, the Southampton defender. I think a lot of people picked him because he's only £4 million worth of. Then you could probably spend that 4 million, or potentially like 3 million extra, budgeting wise, on another player. If you had Trent, if you had someone like Ben White, you're saying 2.5 million. So they're the things that a lot of people got to take this input in. Now, for me, would I have any of those top 5 players? Yes. Would I have 2 of them? Maybe. Potentially, you could have 3 of them from last year. You could literally have Saliba, Anderson, and Burns for 15 million. The exact price of Erling Haaland. So those 3 players, you're saying, but then are you worried about people? Are you going to gain points on people? That's the next thing. Cost wise, I can't click on cost. On the cost. Let's see if I can. Our price. Here we go. So as you can see, it is dominated with Liverpool and Arsenal in the top. What is it? 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the top 7. Okay, even the Arsenal new boy has come in at 6 million. Do I like that? No. Now, there's another player down a bit below, Timber, highly rated player. Didn't play last season because he got injured. But would I put him in? Probably not. I'll go someone like Ben White, Sleeper if I was going to go for an Arsenal player. Could it save me $500,000 potentially? So they're the things everyone got to look at. There's a lot of 5.5 millions for Man City. So again, that's another thing people got to look at. And they're the things that I'm going to look at myself. Now, this one. This is I actually quite rate this. So I think for me, that is going to be an interesting player next year for Man City. But can you get carded a lot? Well, a few years ago, yeah, he got 7 yellow cards, 4 bookings in the previous. So you got to look at certain things like that. Last year he didn't play, of course. So they're things people got to look at. And even last year, this player was a bit surprising at the start, but then he got loads of injuries. So I think that's what people got to look at and why they pick those players and what team you're going to go for. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one when we're talking about midfielders. Goodbye from now.